went to my old seat by, by just habit. Oh, I left my. Okay, is everybody seated? Looks like we are. I will call this meeting back to open session. Do I have a motion from the committee on the fifth item on the agenda? Okay. Oh, and Master was on.
Okay,
sorry.
No, that's right. I will make the motion to have staff go back and do the
Amended agreement.
amended development agreement and take that directly to council.
All right, thank you. Do I have a second to that? I have a second from Watson. Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No.
Okay, we have 3-1 vote on that. Thank you. All right, that brings us up to updates. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Great, just one item on the agenda, and it's related to the Thomas Street developments, and there's been a couple different developments and a lot of discussion over that during the last couple of years. I think we saw the most recent development there was with a single-family homeowner who responded to an RFP who had ultimately pulled for consideration their plans to do any development in that area, and is not going to be going forward with the proposal that they had in any capacity. And that still leaves us with those vacant lots that are over on Thomas Street. And there has been, a lot of discussion among staff as well about kind of next steps and what's next. We all know there's been quite a bit of other conversations about in that neighborhood about environmental concerns at the time. And when we talk about building and we talk about building costs that are going on right now, things are really kind of outside the realm of normal for pricing. And there's a feeling that we should hold off on doing anything further with those lots on Thomas Street, and just have the city hold those for the time being until we work through some of the environmental concerns that are going on nearby. And then, at least come to a period of time where building costs are a bit more in line with something that would provide some affordability in that neighborhood. So I just want to provide an update on that, if the committee has anything they want to weigh in on in that regard.
Well, it'd be, it's always good to keep an open mind and an open ear if, it becomes part of the discussion, maybe through the task force or whatnot. It might have potential for future affordable housing project of some sort. Don't know. So I don't know if we need to re-RFP. I welcome any comments from the committee, but or the mayor. But
yeah, as far as an RFP goes, I think we know we've had some discussions about that. We know the outcome, at least of a request for single-family homes, and at various different levels. We've reached out to more than 40 home builders from around the Wausau area with that last RFP. We had the one submission which had backed out. We know the affordability on that right now just is not going to allow that. They're not going to do this charitably for the city of Wausau. They're going to want to make money, and they're just. In the current climate, that's not a possibility. So I think the advice of staff was just that we consider holding off until a couple of these conditions change or advance.
Alder Killian.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think all good points, and it does seem sensible and prudent to perhaps wait and see how some of these things shake out on the environmental front and on the cost of goods and materials and so forth. But as you suggest, down the road, I think if those properties ever do get a kind of clear bill of health environmentally, that is the type of neighborhood that would likely benefit from affordable housing. Now, it's a working class neighborhood, and when I mean affordable, I mean affordable. But, I also understand that, as we talked about tonight, that there are a lot of moving parts to all of this, and perhaps the task force will be addressing some of those moving parts. But I can speak for at least some of the feedback I've gotten in that part of my district, and I think people are very pleased that the city has been paying attention to the environmental issues, such as on Cleveland Avenue. They've heeded public input on zoning issues, so I think that bodes very well right now for the decisions we've made, and probably just, I think haste would make waste in this case, so I think waiting seems sensible. Thank you.
I just want to echo this. Please no RFP here. Just no. I don't want to take anybody through this again for a third time in a year. So thank you.
Hey, if somebody comes knocking, that's fine.
Yeah, we'll talk then, but I don't want to submit.
Okay. Alder Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lou Larson, 904 South 21st Place, Alderman for District 10. The email keeps coming back to me from, that I got from Matt Thompson, that whoever owns the property should do their due diligence in making sure that land is inhabitable. And if we are going to take a time out and not issue RFPs, maybe it would be a golden opportunity, so to speak, to do a few tests on that and see how it comes out. So when we issue RFPs in the future, we know that thing is safe and nothing's going to come back. Nothing or nobody's going to come back at the city. And another thing is too, and the last two RFPs that got voted down, I hate to say this, but I'm going to. They've been a kind of an embarrassing slap in the face to the neighborhood. First was the putting these expensive townhomes out there in a neighborhood that didn't belong, and then $250,000 homes. I have a guy has spoken to me that, he's shown interest in putting some tiny homes on that property. And should the time when it gets an environmental clean bill of health, we can maybe talk to him and address that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Alder Ryan.
Thank you, Chairman. Deb Ryan, 702 Elm Street. I had been thinking for a while that an alternative use of that property, if the DNR is saying it really should be capped and just a concrete slab or asphalt slab, that potentially additional storage units would be a use that would not overburden with traffic. But it also seems that from the Elder Sanctuary, I thought that they were looking for additional parking, and just happened to go by the compost and the Dairy Queen on Wednesday, and it just seemed like, this might end up as an alternative being additional parking for those that want to explore downtown, and maybe a bicycle station there as a way to enjoy that area and be able to park their car and then be able to take their bikes and explore the downtown. So there might be some other creative ways to be looking at other opportunities in the future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, that brings us to the end of our program. I entertain a motion to adjourn. Alder Killian and Watson. Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye and bye. Thank you.